Germany 2016. I am setting up a studio for a recording session with Irfan Khan. Irfan is a master of the sarod, the Indian classical instrument whose history is closely linked to Irfan's family. The records of the Khan family date back to the early 18th century. Since then, the extended branch of the family, known as the Lucknow-Shahjahanpur-Gharana, has had an enormous influence on what is known today as classical Indian music. This recording session is part of Irfan's activities to take care about his family legacy. It is also part of a journey that started over 300 years ago, when Irfan's ancestors began to make a living as musicians in India, and continued in recent years with an attempt to recapitulate some of the most important stages of this journey on film. It turned out to become a story not only about music and about the almost forgotten history of some of the once most influential artists in India, but also a story about memory as such.
Previously it was all, in the old days it was always the connoisseurs who used to do it. It was not in concert hall, and they used to do it at their home. Quite few friends, those who knew music or liked music, some musicians were invited, some music lovers were invited, and they used to have music at home. And then there were, of course, there were concerts also, big concerts also. But now, there were some organizations in India like the Tansen Samaro, and in Calcutta there was Sararang, and there was Lala Babu's All India, All Bengal music conferences. There were the organizers were connoisseurs of music, and they used to arrange these big conferences. But now they are all gone out of business. The corporate house has taken over. So if you know, then it's easy. And these corporate houses always try to get people whose name will sell tickets or get sponsors. Got to be friendly with the media. Got to be politically connected also. And of course, you've got to be a good performer also. কোথায় পৌঁছলে? আরে বাবা, কেন আমি অন্য গাড়িটাকে বলে দিই, ও তো 10 মিনিটে চলে আসবে। লেটস গো। Eyes, wait.
I would request Imran Khan to come on the stage and present some sort of recital.
Let's go and just set up the mic. Okay. Forgot to mute mic that is.
Irfan Khan represents Lucknow-Shahjahanpur-Gharana. He was tutored by his father, famous Ustad Irfan Khan, and uncle Ustad Irfan Khan. He will be accompanied on the tabla by Sri Archiv-expert, Shahid or Sri Urunta.
Was someone in the audience who could appreciate it?
Yes, just one fellow. Two maybe. One lady, she was a singer, and the other one likes to listen to good music.
Is it worth that? Is it?
Waste of time. But anyway, at least I met few people who might be helpful in the future. Oh, when I was young, I wanted to be a doctor. My mother also wanted me to be a doctor. But things didn't work out, and my father wanted me to carry on the tradition. Initially, I was not very happy to learn music. But later on, I realized that how important it is, and I really enjoyed it after a few months. Then when I used to accompany my father to his concerts and see the applause and people running to him and asking for autographs and things like that, I said, this is a good life. So why learn medicine and just keep on giving them some pills or injections or something like that when you can enjoy life like this? Come in. Is Mr. Suvasu?
It is known as Guru Shishya Parampara. Guru is the teacher and Shishya is the student. And it's known as teacher-student tradition. Parampara is tradition. So the student was expected to stay with the teacher in his house and learn and practice and do the household work also, help in the kitchen, go to the bazaar to get things for the Ustad or maybe Ustad's wife. And in those days there were no mixies and things like that, so you had to do the spices on the stone. So he was expected to do all the tough jobs he was expected to do. And maybe at night when the Ustad was tired, he would press his legs and things like that, give him a massage. So all these things were part of the tradition. With me also, it worked to a certain extent when my father sent me to my uncle. And when he found out that I was not practicing enough, my mother was a little indulgent, and she was, when my father was not there, she was allowing me to stop practicing. And then when my father found out, he said, okay, it's time you go to Lucknow and learn from your uncle. And then he told my uncle to put me through the grinder, give him the works.
When I was born there, my sisters were born there, all my sisters, because whenever my mother was expecting, she would go to Lucknow. So we are all Lucknow born. I was born in 54 and my father shifted to Calcutta in 52. So, but my mother was still in Lucknow because my father was shuttling between Lucknow and Calcutta.
For the kind attention of passengers.
So we were staying here. We used to learn here, and this was the main door when we could go up. Now, of course, everything has changed. There was a room here, that side, and there were 3 rooms upstairs. One was my grandfather's, one for my father, and there was another room. So sometimes I used to stay upstairs, most of the times downstairs in the practice room, so that I could get up early with my uncle and practice. In the morning, I was supposed to get up with him. He would first wash himself and then offer his prayers. In the meantime, I was supposed to brew some tea
for him and me, myself, and some biscuits or maybe a toast or something. And then start practicing at 5 o'clock, 5:30. I was with him for about 7 years. And after some time my father expired. And then this job in Kabul came up in 1984 and I left for Kabul.
Piyon tutar da. İne mi tutara bu çi burnu? Hayse barma.
Okay. This is rabab. During the ancient times, it was used for martial music when they used to fight, and then the rababis used to sing songs and encourage the soldiers. This is a sarod, and it has been developed from the rabab which you just saw before by my ancestors, and it's become obsolete in Afghanistan, so I'm trying to revive it. And so we can call it an Indo-Afghan instrument. It was invented by my great-great-grandfather, and the prototype of it was the Kabli rabab, the Afghan rabab. And he was an Afghan who was from Jalalabad. His name was Niamatullah Khan. So he migrated to India. He was a horse trader. He used to trade in horses. So this Niamatullah Khan Sahab wanted to learn Indian music, and he could play a little bit of rabab. So he went to the grandson of Mia Tansen, the legendary singer of Akbar's court, the great Mughal Akbar's court, and said, I want to learn Indian classical music on rabab. And he said, look, he said, no, if you want to learn Indian classical music, you have to learn it on some Indian instrument. And because rabab is not suitable for it because of its limitations. It has only just 1.5 octave and things like that. So, but my great-grandfather, he was adamant, and since he liked rabab so much, and he was an Afghan, so he said, okay, I'll modify the rabab and adapt it to Indian conditions. And he did away with the frets that the rabab has, changed the fingerboard to a metal fingerboard, did away with the gut strings, put steel strings, and then he learned the music from this man, Ustad Khan Sahab. In those days, the patrons were all these rulers, and most of the concerts were in the court. The king wanted to listen to someone, or the Nawab wanted to listen to someone. Most of these Maharajas had their own court musicians. Jaipur was a big place for musicians.
it is said that they had 1200 musicians.
फोटो लेके यहीं पाइए
कैसे आऊँ? अरे यहाँ बिल्कुल शुरू है, थोड़ी शुरू की तुम आओ, कैसे आओ?
यहीं पाइएगा खड़ी सीढ़ी है बनवाने का भी पैसा देते थे गिरवाने का भी, क्योंकि अकाल पड़ गया था काम धंधा किसी को नहीं। अभी बात लोगों ने कहना शुरू कर दी, जिसको ना दे मौला उसको दे आसपत
See, I told you, in the morning he used to have it erected, and at night he used to have it demolished, and he used to pay the workers for construction and destruction both for 11 years. This was built during the reign of Asfadullah, and there was a famine going on at that time, so he wanted to help the poor people. So he built this shrine, and in the morning the workers used to make it, and in the evening he used to get it demolished, so they can start all over again, and then they can have some work and some food. And it carried on for some time until the famine was over, and then so that's what the Nawabs were like. So, but then slowly after independence, these Nawabs, and they lost all the money and all the land and everything. Things were not the same. So slowly music in the court started coming to an end. This was constructed for the resident called John Bailey. During the 1857 mutiny, the first war of independence, according to the Indians, the Britishers came in here, and there was a huge fighting, big fight. I mean, carried on for a few months, and you can still see the bullet marks and those cannon marks on those walls. After the mutiny, everything collapsed. So the musicians didn't know what to do. So they had to migrate from one place to another to find work or to give concerts. Some of them they went through a very hard time. And Niamtullah Khan Sahab, who was in the Awadh court, he was the Ustad of the Nawab of Awadh, Wajari Shah. He came with Nawab to Calcutta, Matia Bruj, when he was deposed in 1856. And then after some time he migrated to Nepal. He was there at the Nepal court for 30 years. And then during the Delhi Darbar of 1802, when the King Edward Darbar, Delhi Darbar, he came and performed there, and after that he expired. I mean, these Nawabs took care of everything. I've seen it myself. My father, after that, most of the time, the Nawab wouldn't let him go and perform anywhere else. He said, "Why you want to go and perform? You perform for me. Well, how much are they paying you?" My father would say, "They are paying me this much." So don't worry, I'll pay you. You don't have to go. Why take the trouble of traveling and putting up in a hotel or something? And then, although my father didn't like it, but because it was the end of his performing career, but he had to give in to this king's and Nawab's whims and fancies, and he sacrificed a lot for us so that we could have a good education, stay in one place and go to school and college and learn music and have a good life. We were never deprived of anything.
I still remember the dates. My father had gone to Bangladesh. It was February 19th. And I had gone to, the same night I had gone to a place called Bankura in West Bengal for a concert. And I came back on the 20th, and on 21st morning I received a phone call that my father had expired in Dhaka. And they wanted me to come to Dhaka to look after the last rites. And so I said, I can come, I have a passport, but what about my mother and my sisters and all the family? I don't want to do that. You send the body to Calcutta. So the body was sent the next day, and in the meantime I informed my uncle and the whole family, and everyone came to Calcutta, and then the last rites were performed in Calcutta. We buried him in Calcutta on 22nd. Before leaving, he had told me that, look, there were 3 students who were supposed to come during that time. He had told me, look, this man will be coming, you teach him this, and you teach the other person this far and this far. But it never happened. He was dead. And I want to pass this knowledge on, the knowledge which I have. I have compositions which are around 300 years old, by great masters, which I am the only one in India who has them, because I had 3 sources, but I need to pass them on to someone. I don't have a son and my daughters are not interested. I tried teaching them. I have 2 daughters, and I tried to teach my elder daughter Sitar and my younger daughter Sarod.
That is School of Language, and I don't know what their function is, because they teach graduation in Spanish and Arabic and Chinese, and I have a lot of they're teaching all of that. But what do you do once you graduate in Chinese? I don't know.
You go to China as a translator, as an interpreter.
No, you get your ambassadorial jobs and all of that, but how many of them get it?
You don't have to be an ambassador. You are all the time. You can be the first secretary, second secretary.
Yeah, really. That is, you've got no idea. This is where I study, School of International Studies. Yeah, it's so left.
What do you vote?
When I'm on campus, I vote for the left. Yeah, I am not a communist, but my friends are.
Come.
ABVP is a very pro-India, pro-nationalist feelings and patriotic. Not many people align with their ideology.
What do you want your daughter to become when she has finished her education?
It's up to them. They won't listen to me in any case, so.
No, but then it's not about listening to you, right? It's about doing the right thing, isn't it?
I was telling you the wrong thing.
You were telling a different thing.
Mon, did you ever consider to carry on with the music business?
No, never. Basically I'm tone deaf. I don't, and I did learn the basics in sitar and stuff, but I was not very passionate about it. And let's just say that I pursued it for a few years because that was my father wanted that, so I learned basics. But once I was away from my father, I was away from music. No, I was other than that, never.
Chalo, let's go.
He still wants us to learn, but I don't think so. Maybe sometime when I grow old and I realize the value. Not before that. Yeah? Bugatti.
So how's your life different from your father's?
Oh, that way. Yeah, he stays indoors most of the time. We go. He is not very interactive with people. He doesn't have much of a social life. Very limited friends. Yeah, we're completely different that way. Then our ideas are different on how to, live our lives, how to go about things. Nothing really matches. Yeah, but then we're trying and working it out.
Please welcome Ustad Irfan Khan and Pandit Irfan. Shiraj Ali Khan has got an impeccable lineage, as I just told you. He is the great grandson of Sangeet Acharya Baba Ustad Alauddin Khan Sahab of Maihar. And he is the grandson of Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, the Sarod Maestro, the Sarod Shahin Shah. Shiraj Ali Khan has traveled all over the world, and he has also been associated with fusion music in a big way. In today's program, however, he presents a traditional recital of the Sarod, of which he is a master.
Some people who in Delhi who very progress. You have heard of Vinod Kapoor? Vinod Kapoor? No?
No, no. Thank you. Thank you.
Some of the musicians had to change their approach also. They started playing new ragas, they composed new ragas, they stopped playing the old guts, they composed their own guts which are simpler and more appealing to the audience. They started playing dhuns and whatnot, everything. They tried everything, all the tricks in the book to be popular.
So, and what about you? If you would have to describe your life in terms of changes?
Changes, I have not changed. Whatever I learned from my father, whatever my grandfather was playing or my father was playing, we have stuck to it. You will never find me playing dhuns and things like that, or film songs, or the people are doing it. I have nothing against them. I mean, they are most welcome to do it. If that's what they want to do, but I won't do it. So I've got a reputation of about 14 generations to look back upon. I am not famous, but my ancestors were certainly famous. There's thousands and thousands of compositions which are lost now because people were miserly, stingy, they didn't want to teach anyone else. People were so, they wanted to guard their knowledge, they didn't want to pass it on to anyone else except for the son. This is a book written by Kakab Khan Sahab. It's called Johar-e-Musiqi.
When did he write that?
He died in 1915. So he must have started it in 14 or 13 or whatever, but before he could finish it, he expired. Because in those days, there were not many books written. There were some theoretical books, some historical dealing with history, but nothing about practical knowledge.
Who has read it?
I have read it, my father read it. Kaukab Khan Sahab, son Waliullah Khan Sahab read it. My grandfather read it, Sakawat Khan Sahab. My grandfather, his name was Ustad Irfan Khan, and he was the son of Shafayat Hussain Khan, who was himself a sarod player. He was selected by the government to represent India at the Berlin Olympics, along with Madam Maneka, who was a dancer, and she wanted to play a ballet. That was a new concept at that time. And he came here in 1934, and he was here till 1939. Okay, that's my grandfather with his student, and I think this is in Germany. I don't know what place. I would like to find out if some recordings survive, because I have few shell records of his, 5 or 6. But if some recordings are available, it can be found in somewhere in Germany where he made so many recordings. If we can find that, if it survived the war, that would be very nice. This is my grandfather. This one.
I only have a few information about the Volksoper, but what I know, I will tell.
Thank you so much.
You can see it here. Maybe it's around about 1905, 1910. This picture. The concept was to play classical
concerts, yes.
But the people didn't want to see or to hear this kind of concert, and they put out the organ in 1910, gave it to a church, and they started a new program with very popular. And because of this, the building got the name Volksoper, no? Opera for the people.
Yeah.
Today, nothing is really left from this building. Today, there is a really ugly office building there. You don't. But now, this is the place. So you don't see anything.
But he made some recordings here Some of them are quite famous, those pieces. And one piece which is unfortunately lost, which was a favorite of my grandfather and my favorite also. So I was really looking forward to have that recording, but unfortunately it is lost.
Always spoke good about Germany. This is such a wonderful place, and so disciplined, unlike what we are used to in India, and how it was easy to travel. My grandfather used to tell him he traveled all over Germany without any problems, maybe a few mishaps here and there while coming down from Switzerland in the snow, but apart from that, people were lovely and friendly. Maybe he didn't know much when he came, but when he was here for 5 years, I'm sure he must have learned a lot. My grandfather sent.
Zeigen Sie es mal den anderen auch. Ne? Ja, das ist ja alles. Das ist dann Leipzig. Völkerschlachtdenkmal. Ach, da ist er ja, der Gröfatz. Auf seinem Platz hier stehen. Ja. Ja. Hier sehen wir nochmal diesen Mann, wie er rauskommt aus dem Opernhaus in Bekleidung. Also Hitler war oft, gerne hier und das hat natürlich seine Auswirkungen gehabt. Fritz Busch, weltbekannter Dirigent, wird am 7. März 1933, also ganz am Anfang, relativ am Anfang der Macht dieses Systems, hier aus dem Haus herausgejagt. Busch kommt zur Probe und da sind schon zahlreiche Nazis zugegen, die schon mit Buhrufen und anderen Geräuschen auftreten. Und abends hat er einen Rigoletto zu dirigieren und kaum steht er am Pult, da ist fast das ganze Haus voll Nazis in Uniform und die machen so einen Lärm, dass Busch sich im Klaren ist, das wird hier nichts. Er legt den Taktstock hin und schreibt in seine Unterlagen, das habe ich auch irgendwo in dem Buch gelesen, aus. Schluss, es ist vorbei. Verlässt das Pult. Es wird dann der Ersatzdirigent gerufen und die Aufführung findet statt, aber Busch findet nicht mehr statt. Warum? Der soll sich der Kultur, die nicht mit den Nazis 1:1 deckungsgleiches mehr gewidmet haben, der soll sich mit Juden zu freundlich abgegeben haben und. Man hat also Künstler radikal, rigoros entfernt, um das Ganze dem System anzupassen. Und das ist hier in diesem Hause natürlich auch in gnadenloser Form passiert.
Is this the catalogue?
This is one volume of the catalogue from two.
Oh, yes.
But only
from 1936. Yeah.
36 to
39.
39.
Yeah.
Then this catalogue ends because of the war, and we have not enough information about the productions afterwards. But here is represented this recording you are looking for.
I think this might be it.
Yeah.
It says Harod in solo piece. It says solo. This might also be there. Solo instrument and dance. I think dance is dancing. I don't know. And this is the clarinet Shehnai. This I don't know, orchestra, whether he's playing in the orchestra or not, I don't know. We'll have to listen to it. Oh, yes, one-sided.
Yes.
Darf ich dahinter treten oder was?
Sie können hier rum.
Ja.
That's my grandfather. This piece is completely my grandfather's composition. I can tell you right now. This is not traditional.
This is the number from Berlin, and this one is the number of the radio station Hamburg. It's another number.
Yep.
Die Matrizen wurden in Hamburg hergestellt. Dann gingen die wahrscheinlich schon als Matrizen nach Berlin. Dort wurden die dann nach dem beschriebenen Verfahren in Schellack transferiert. Das war, ich glaube, zu dieser Zeit hat das die Deutsche Grammophongesellschaft im Auftrag der Reichsrundfunkgesellschaft gemacht. Manchmal war es auch Telefunk, aber ich meine, es wurde dann de facto von der Deutschen Grammophon gepresst, aber nicht als Produktion der Deutschen Grammophon, sondern rein zum internen Gebrauch im Rundfunk. Dann sind die also erstmal nach Berlin gekommen und da sind sie jetzt auch erstmal geblieben. Also das ist Teil eines Bestandes, der ausgelagert war in einem Bunker in einer Kleingartenkolonie in der Nähe von der Leperstraße. Dort haben die den Krieg weitestgehend überdauert und 1992 war das, glaube ich, sind die dann zu uns überführt worden nach Frankfurt.
What I wanted to ask is, suppose I make some recordings of the compositions from that era, which I have, which has been passed to me from my ancestors, and give it to you. Can it be possible for you to preserve it here?
Yes, that would be possible. Also das berührt natürlich jetzt genau den Punkt der Archivwürdigkeit sozusagen. Ne? Alles, was im Programm gesendet werden kann, ist auch für uns im Prinzip interessant. Also das ist die eine Perspektive sozusagen, was kann man im Programm brauchen, an O-Tönen zum Beispiel. O-Töne sind da ganz wichtig. Oder eben vielleicht auch mal eine entlegene, spezielle musikalische Aufnahme, durchaus interessant. Das andere ist natürlich die historische Perspektive. Das ist immer noch mal was anderes. Also was wird möglicherweise in 10, 15 oder auch in 100 Jahren interessant sein, was jetzt vielleicht fürs Programm jetzt nicht primär so interessant ist, aber einfach als Quelle für eine bestimmte kulturelle Erscheinung eben hergehen kann. Und da machen wir uns dann schon auch mal auf und nehmen Dinge auf, die jetzt nicht aus dem Rundfunk selbst kommen.
My consideration was the recordings of my grandfather and my recordings should be there together for future. After 80 years I found it. Someone maybe after 80 years will find my recordings also here.
Mhm.
This is the safest way to do it.
Ja, es ist aber eine sehr, sehr philosophische Frage und das ist nicht unbedingt Sache der Archivare, sage ich mal. Nein, Archive sind dazu da, natürlich die Sachen dauerhaft aufzubewahren. Also wir hatten ja darüber gesprochen, auch durchaus Auswahl zu treffen. Aber es gilt im Grunde der alte Satz, also wenn man es haben will, muss man es sich dann trotzdem irgendwie erwerben. Also nur, dass etwas archiviert ist, davon ist natürlich die Überlieferung gesichert, aber noch nicht der Zugang zu den Menschen, sag ich mal, oder so eine Aktualisierung in der Jetztzeit.
Ein Archiv kann eigentlich nur eine Notlösung sein. Also es ist dass der Ton aufgehoben wird. Aber der Ton ist es nicht alleine, wie mein Kollege eben sagte. Die ganze Tradierung, die könnte verloren gehen. Und es wäre natürlich sehr schön, wenn man die Tradition in irgendeiner Weise fortsetzen kann. Damit hält man es am meisten am Leben. Aber als Zeitdokument, als Schlaglicht auf eine Epoche, ist es schon wichtig, das in einem Archiv zu hinterlegen. Also viele ethnologische Aufnahmen oder auch viele Sprachen und viele Musikkultur von Völkern, die jetzt einfach nicht mehr existieren, weil sie ausgestorben sind nur in dieser Art und Weise überliefert. Und das sollte man wirklich noch mal im Hinterkopf haben, dass man das, was da ist, festhält. Aber das ist eben nur ein Bruchteil dessen, was kulturell wünschenswert wäre. Also wir können nur den Klang bewahren, aber nicht die Kultur. Die Kultur müssen Menschen fortsetzen.
It's not a burden. It's not a burden. The thing is, it's a big responsibility. If you have a 14 generation of responsibility on you, and you know that is going to end with you, it makes you sad, and it's like an albatross around your neck. I mean, you can't do away with it, and you can't live with it. You see, I have compositions which are almost 300 years old, and I have no one in the family to pass it on. And after me, these compositions will be lost. So I want to record it for posterity and give it to, and someone should record it and keep it in some archives. Later on, people can make use of it, learn from it, and people who want to do research can benefit from it. When people would like to know what the compositions were like 300 years ago, and the compositions of great masters like Pyar Khan, Basat Khan, Ni'amatullah Khan Sahab, Kaukab Khan, Shafayat Khan, Abdul Karim, Abdul Ghani Khan, Yusuf Ali Khan Sahab, Ilyas Khan Sahab, Umar Khan Sahab, they would like to find out, and then they can come to these archives and benefit from it. That is why I want to do this recording, because after me, these compositions would be lost forever.